Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating concept called the art of problem framing. We're going to uncover why the absolute secret to award-winning design isn't actually just raw creativity. It's really about how you frame the problem right from the very beginning.
Here is a quick look at what we'll be covering today. We'll start with the secret to great design, talk about how to look beyond the obvious, borrow a really great doctor analogy, figure out how to write good problem statements, and finally, look at how framing applies across all different design fields. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the secret to great design, and what actually makes the difference.
So picture this. You've got two different designers, right? And they're given the exact same brief, the same timeline, the same resources. But at the end of the project, one comes up with a completely ordinary solution, while the other creates something that literally wins awards. What actually separates them? You might automatically think it's just pure talent or crazy good software skills, but usually it comes down to one fundamental skill that happens way before the designing even starts. That skill is a little thing called problem framing. Essentially, it's the process of clearly defining what problem we are actually trying to solve before jumping straight into building solutions. Now, I know that sounds super simple, but the truth is the very first problem we notice is rarely the real problem. The best designers out there know to pause and ask, okay, what is really happening here? Is there a deeper issue hiding right behind the obvious one? To see what I mean, let's move to section 2. Looking beyond the obvious, using a classic backpack example. Imagine getting a design brief that simply says, students need a better backpack. I mean, that is way too broad, right? It doesn't give you anything to work with. But let's say we do some user research on college students here in India. Suddenly, a much deeper reality reveals itself. We find out they're carrying heavy laptops on incredibly crowded local trains. They travel super long distances in auto rickshaws. They experience awful shoulder pain and sweat in the heat. And they constantly struggle to find their Metro cards when they're in a rush. So, armed with that info, the problem isn't just about making a new backpack anymore. The real challenge becomes improving comfort during those hot, crowded commutes, prioritizing smart organization, and ensuring everyday usability so they can quickly access what they need. By reframing the problem around these very specific, local insights, your design direction immediately becomes crystal clear. Which brings us to section 3. The doctor analogy and why diagnosing the right issue is just absolutely crucial. Think about it like going to the doctor. If a doctor totally misunderstands the illness you have, it doesn't matter if they give you the most expensive, advanced medicine in the world, it just won't work. Well, design works the exact same way. If a designer solves the wrong problem, they're going to create the wrong solution, no matter how beautifully engineered or aesthetically pleasing it is. And honestly, this right here is exactly why so many products fail in the real world. Unsuccessful products often flawlessly solve a problem that users just never actually had. The products aren't necessarily badly designed, it's just that the creators spent zero time diagnosing the real issue beforehand. Okay, section 4, problem statements. Let's talk about moving from vague to specific. So how do we actually avoid building useless things? We write a solid problem statement. Professional designers won't even start a project until their statement meets 4 very strict criteria. It absolutely has to be clear. It has to be highly specific. It must be based entirely on actual research rather than just gut assumptions. And it has to remain focused squarely on the user. Let's look at a real-world comparison to see the difference this makes. An old bad statement is super flat. Something like, students need a better bag. But a great statement, it looks more like this. Design students commuting across Mumbai need a more organized and breathable backpack because they frequently experience shoulder strain and difficulty accessing Metro cards during peak hours. The contrast there is just staggering. One leaves you completely guessing, while the other creates a highly meaningful, localized roadmap for your design. Now, once you've nailed down that specific difficulty, something cool happens. You get to shift your mindset. You move from defining the problem into inspiring innovation by creating an opportunity statement. Basically, you're transforming a negative challenge into positive inspiration. You start asking, okay, what opportunity does this create for us? And that is the perfect mindset to have for coming up with truly creative solutions. Finally, let's look at Section 5, Framing Across Design Fields, and its universal application. Now, you might be wondering if this is just a product design thing. Definitely not. A fashion designer, for example, might reframe the vague idea of people need clothes into young professionals in Delhi need breathable, versatile wear that transitions from a corporate office to an evening out. A UI/UX designer shifts from, hey, we have low app usage, to first-time digital users are struggling to navigate the new UPI payment interface in that crucial first minute. Or an interior designer realizes a small room is actually just a poor layout for a multi-generational Indian household. From digital apps to kurtas, finding the root problem is a totally universal design skill. Which ultimately leads us to one golden rule. The quality of a design solution depends entirely on the quality of the problem it tries to solve. Great designers never, ever rush to create. They investigate first. Because at the end of the day, a brilliant solution to the wrong problem is still a failure.
So now that we know how to frame a problem accurately, it leaves us with one really provocative question to tackle in our next explainer. How might we transform these well-defined problems into exciting possibilities? Like, how do we use how might we questions to actually begin innovating? I want you to keep that question in mind as you look at the design challenges in your own daily life. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I can't wait to see you next time.